perimeter, Pythagorean theorem, and circles. In this lesson, we're going to calculate the perimeter of each of the following shapes. But in order to do this, we might need to find out what a missing side length is with Pythagorean theorem, or by using the circumference of a circle. Example number 1. In order to do this question, we are going to have to calculate what the hypotenuse is. And in order to figure out what the hypotenuse is, we need to sketch where this triangle would be. So we're going to break up this composite shape into two simple shapes. So we have a rectangle and we have a right angle triangle. We know that across from the right angle is always the hypotenuse, which is labeled as side C, and the other two sides are A and B. Now we know that A is equal to 12 meters. Because of the rectangle, the sides across from each other are the same dimension. But we also need to calculate what B is. So B is just this portion of this bottom line segment. So we know that the entire length of the line segment is 28, and we need to subtract the distance of the rectangle, which is 18, and that's going to give us the value of just part B. So 28 take away 18 is 10, and my units are meters. So now that we've calculated the dimensions for A and for B, we can use those to find the dimensions of part C, or line segment C, and so we are going to do Pythagorean theorem. So Pythagorean theorem says that A squared plus B squared is equal to C squared. I'm going to substitute in my values for A and B. My A is 12, so 12 squared, plus B is 10. 10 squared is equal to C squared. 12 squared is the same as 12 times 12, so that's 144. And 10 squared is the same as 10 times 10, which is 100. 144 plus 100 is 244. That's equal to C squared. But we need the value of C, not the value of C squared. So remember, to go from C squared to C, we have to take the square root of our dimension so that's 244. So the square root of 244 is approximately 15.6 if I round that to the nearest tenth, and my units are meters. So now that we've identified what the value of C is, we have all of the sides that we need to calculate the perimeter of this shape. So the perimeter is equal to 28 plus 12 plus 18 plus 15.6. Now you can do this in multiple steps, or you can plug this all into your calculator. 28 plus 12 plus 18 plus 15.6 will give us 73.6, and I have to include my units, is meters. My next example involves this shape right here. So again, this is a composite shape that is made up of a right angle triangle and a semicircle, so half a circle. So in order to find the perimeter of this shape, I need to find out what the circumference of this semicircle is. But in order to find the circumference of the semicircle, I need to know the diameter of my circle. And the diameter of the circle is the same as my hypotenuse of the right angle triangle. So I'm going to start by labeling my sides. Across from your right angle is always C. The other two sides are A and B. Pythagorean theorem says that a squared plus b squared is equal to c squared. I'm going to substitute my values for a and b. So I have 8 squared plus 6 squared is equal to c squared. 8 squared is 8 times 8, which is 64. 6 squared is 6 times 6, which is 36. And that's equal to c squared. I have to add my 64 to my 36, so that gives me 100. And in order to solve for c, I have to take the square root of 100. And that gives me a dimension of 10, and my units are centimeters. So the hypotenuse of my right angle triangle is 10 centimeters. And the hypotenuse is the same as my diameter, which is 10 centimeters. And I'm going to use the diameter to find out the circumference of my semicircle. So the circumference of a circle is pi times d, but because I have a semicircle, I'm going to divide this by 2. I'm going to use 3.14 as my value for pi. I'm going to times it by 10, and I'm going to divide this by 2. I'm going to go ahead and simplify my numerator. 3 times 1.4 times 10 is 31.4, and then I'm going to divide this by 2. So 31.4 divided by 2 is 15.7, and my units are centimeters. So now that I have the circumference of my semicircle, then I can find the perimeter of this shape. So I'm going to add up 6 plus 8 plus 15.7. And again, I can add this all in my calculator. 6 plus 8 plus 15.7 is equal to 29.7, and my units are centimeters. Remember to include your units with your final answers in order to get full marks. If you have any questions about this lesson, please reach out to me, and I will see you in the next lesson.